Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to Disney Encanto Gifts Scored. This will be a fun episode because I mentioned when I was talking about Bruno that there is a handful of characters, more specifically, just one single character that I have a gripe about the design for the character based off of everything in the movie. And I'm assuming you can guess which character it is, considering that this episode is Louisa. Before I get into the ways that her superpower is used, which this is super strength, which in general it's actually no, I'll do it first because it's either physically based, which usually results in little weaknesses to losing it or inability to lose it in general, without like a disease or some sort of infection or whatnot directly like in interfering with the person's physique, or magical, which we all know at this point is definitely what Encanto's gifts are. They're all magic-based abilities and powers, which, aside from magical intervention, you can't really affect with physical. And as such, raises my gripe with her design. Now, I'll give you a second to try to guess in the comments if you want to, what issue I have with her, based off of the fact that she is a magic-based super strength uh, character. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. Essentially, now, I think that was should be enough time for you to get it out in the comments. And if you wanted to pause if you didn't get it done yet, go right ahead. But essentially, uh, they made her too buff. And yes, I'm aware of the fact that the animators and designers fought to make her like fit and like jacked and buff and everything, but it doesn't make sense in the context of the story itself. Don't believe me? Hear me out. Luisa is, and all of the other characters in the movie get their powers and their gifts from a magical blessing. None of it, none, not a single bit of it is physically attributed as such as the X gene in the X-Men and Marvel Mutants, Superman being affected differently by how different the Earth is compared to Krypton and whatnot. No, it's magic. It's not physical. So, answer me this question. If you're super strong because of magic, and thus you're as strong as you need to be for something, as people have pointed out in other videos that they've made, why in the world would you build muscle? How would you build muscles in the physical sense if that's not what is the cause of your power? Louisa should not be buff because there's no reason and no real ability for her to get buff. Like, she could be super fat and super strong. She could be super skinny and super strong. I I would have the same issue if it was a guy, a male character, instead of a female character. Either way, you have magical super strength. It's from magic, not inherent biology or physicality. It's just magical super strength. You just have it. You should not have super large muscles. But again, back to um, the ranking, I would have to say again, uh, short term for all of them. Everyday military, spy, and business is pretty good because you can like this is definitely more of a short term focused um, gift is like you're super strong. You can solve immediate problems that require super strength. But in the long term, it, it's you can't really provide for something in the long term or solve for something in the long term. As like you're just super strong. That's all it is. So I would have to say again, it'd be 4 out of 8, just because like also we've seen it so much. It's kind of like yeah, this is the simple one power to give people. Every superhero based thing has someone or something with super strength, as well as the fact that like the only real variations are whether it's magic based or or biologically based, and we get both. Not nearly as much magically based though. So yeah, like I I don't know what to say. Luis's design doesn't make sense for the lore of the movie itself, and it also really doesn't like work with. And well, then her power doesn't really make sense in a long-term setting with either everyday military spy or business, because there's really like aside from just everyday short-term things that happen to come up again in the future, like there's not really anything there. But yeah, in spy and military settings, it would be helpful, as well as business for like short term, like solve merchandising problems or whatnot. So it's like, it's what it is. It's middle of the road, in all honesty. But again, have a good week. Enjoy the rest of it. If you disagree or have an argument against any of what I said, whether the design or the scoring, let me know in the comments and just enjoy your week. Have a nice one. Bye.